in May of 1990, we started our meal program, and I was already familiar with Food Gatherers because I had, prior to coming to Hope, I had been the director of the Shelter Association of Ann Arbor, and in fact, I was director there when Food Gatherers started, and I think we were one of the first places that utilized Food Gatherers services. And at the time, they would bring food primarily from restaurants. Now, we didn't have a kitchen, so perhaps they provided food to food banks. But at the time, I think that their focus, or their initial focus, was on getting prepared food donated from restaurants. And so they would bring that to the shelter. So I was familiar with their services. And so when we started our meal program, I contacted them, and they began helping with our weekend meals. At the time, we had a very small food pantry. It was only later, when we expanded the food pantry, that we accessed Food Gatherers services to, again, stock the food shelves. But the weekend meals, we've served a weekend meal with most of the food provided by Food Gatherers since 1990. Since we've done it so long, there's been times when the economy's been better and worse. We serve up to 100 people on a weekend.
Wow.
Sometimes 50, sometimes 75, up to 100.
So,
and the food from Food Gatherers has gotten better and better, healthier and healthier. There's a much greater variety. When we first started the meals, because I was the only paid staff at the time, I was in charge of the meal program. So I remember we mainly got bags of salad and produce. And meat for the meal. But now the fresh produce is amazing that they send. Even their supply, just their overall inventory has expanded greatly for both the food pantry and the weekend meals. And we've been able to serve more and more folks. There's been a greater need, especially the last few years. We used to do food 2 days a week, and that wasn't that long ago, and now we do it 3 days a week. Thanks to Food Gatherers, we have 2 produce distribution days, and now that we have our kitchen on site, we have a huge dining room, and on Monday and Thursday it's like a farmer's market in there. They set it up and it smells like it looks like it's fabulous, and you and I would be pleased to be able to shop there. There's a new focus. Not only has Food Gatherers provide us with the food we need, but that they have the nutrition piece, and they've helped us implement nutrition education, and that's something we're still working on developing. Last year they helped fund some special nutrition days because we have a medical clinic, and we focus on nutrition and prevention for our medical clinic patients, and we have a whole lot of folks that suffer from diabetes, high blood pressure, and so we're trying to get them to eat healthier. So we're working, and we did several such days last year, and we hope to start them again this fall, where we have what we call special dietary days, so that there's a real focus on making sure that people have access to the food, but also nutrition educators to talk to them about food, and also recipes and if there's a vegetable or fruit that they haven't used. Well, we wouldn't be able to provide the type of resources that we are right now in that area of food. In the meals, our meals probably would be still maybe more relying on the carbohydrates. We wouldn't have the funding to buy the fresh produce, for example, because that can be real costly. Our food pantry probably would be smaller. I'm sure it would be. We would still have a food pantry because that is one of our core programs, and we had a small food pantry before we partnered with Food Gatherers. It used to just serve the folks that used our medical clinic, and then now we're able to serve the broader community. We're a true emergency food pantry, a client choice pantry, which means folks come in and they shop, so to speak, in the food pantry with a pantry assistant. We have the shelves labeled for nutrition, and that's again something that I think Food Gatherers helped facilitate. We became familiar with the go, woe, and slow. No, go slow and woe. Nutrition ratings of food, so that the go has a green label on them. So if you go to our food pantry, you'll see the green labels, and then you'll see the yellow labels for slow, not too much, and woe for shouldn't have much of that at all. Well, I think that making a difference in people's lives, partnering with, I mean, Hope has about 1,000 volunteers, and it's a real gift to be able to work with volunteers. They're there, or they're here because they want to be here. I think the first thing is to make sure you understand the problem firsthand and go to food banks and work at a food bank and go to a weekend meal and serve there. I think that educating yourself is the first step.
Yeah,
You know.
for sure.
And then I think the next steps become more obvious of how you, as an individual, can help in the long run.